Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon's inviting you to attend a cartoon party. There's just one catch. These guys are your hosts. They're Ren and Stimpy, Nick's original cartoon party animals. They've invaded Nickelodeon. So get all dressed up, buy thoughtful presents, and mind your manners. Not! It's Ren and Stimpy's cartoon party. So crash it every Sunday at 11:10 Central on Nickelodeon.
Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? So, Ren and Stimpy. Now, this was one of the original Nickelodeon cartoons. Back in the early 90s, it was Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, and a few others. Now, this show sort of made Nickelodeon what it was in the 90s. It was edgy, it was gross, it was sort of defined, I guess, Nickelodeon in the 90s. And back then, Nickelodeon was sort of edgier compared to a Cartoon Network or Disney Channel. Nickelodeon back then wasn't necessarily afraid to get down and dirty with certain humor, and I feel like that's sort of a good thing. Because if we look at cartoons from the 80s, it was clean cut, it always had to have a good message, you know, no violence, don't do drugs, this and that. But the fact that this released, I think it was either 92 or 93, and it had this level of humor was sort of a good thing. In a way, it sort of promoted Nickelodeon. Let's not forget though that Ren and Stimpy isn't necessarily only for children. I mean, it had a ton of gross shit that flew over my head as a kid.
Do you really like it?
It's our favorite game in the whole world!
Oh, you like the game, huh?
Well, how do you like these?
I mean, kind of thinking about it, was Ren and Stimpy necessarily, I guess, appropriate for kids? Not really, but it was a different time back then. Anyway, I feel like I've done enough rambling, so me personally, I remember watching Ren and Stimpy a little bit as a kid, you know, being born in the late 90s, I didn't get to experience the show in its prime. Though I do remember watching the show through Nicktoon. It was Nickelodeon's sister channel that showed old shows from the 90s. So of course it would air Ren and Stimpy, Rocket Power, Rocko's Modern Life, Rugrats, all the primarily old stuff from the 90s, and even some game shows too, like Double Dare or Nick Gas. It was a good channel back in the day, but again, I'm getting away from my main point. Now, me personally watching Ren and Stimpy as a kid, obviously I was way too young for it, but I'd still say for the most part that the show was really good back then, and even watching it now, it's still good. Although you will have to deal with the gross out humor, you definitely have to get past that, but if you look beyond that, the show is so great. Of course, you got classic episodes like Stimpy's Invention, or you got the episode where they go to the beach and Ren gets surgery.
Grade bot fat.
Okie doke. Ow! Stimpy, if I don't get these wraps off, I'm gonna die of itching. Me too.
There's a bunch of good episodes out there. If you want to sit down and watch it, be my guest. This show's great. I'd say though, for the most part, that this show holds up extremely well. It has that classic 90s gross out humor. It was made by Nickelodeon. What else could you ask for? Although the creator has some messed up stories, although I'm not going to mention it in this video. If you look up the creator of Ren and Stimpy, I think his name is John K. There is a lot of stuff with him, but I'm not going to go into that. But one more point I would like to mention though, Ren and Stimpy is more of a creator-based show. You see, the creator John K., he worked in the 80s, he worked on these clean-cut cartoons and he thought they sucked. And he always wanted to make a more cruder or I guess adult humored show. And this is where Ren and Stimpy comes in. This show was sort of made by creators for creators. And again, this goes back to Nickelodeon in the 90s. They're more, I guess, edgier. They're a more edgier kids channel, I guess. So you have a great channel with cartoons made by creators for creators. Obviously, you could see how the rest of this pans out. And again, me personally, I still love Ren and Stimpy. I always still kind of watch the show to this day, and I'll be honest, I think this is where my dark sense of humor came from as a kid. Because me personally, I feel like I was way too young when I was watching this, so I guess it adds up. I don't know. But either way, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. No rush. And did you watch Ren And Stimpy as a kid? Did you watch it when it was in its prime? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Mordecai and Rigby, where the fuck were you guys? Now, Mr. Epstein is hanging from our fucking ceiling, and the CIA wanted to see him alive. Resurrect Jeffrey Epstein or you're fired!